So we're going to find out here how bad that was for Gomez, and actually how good it was for Hong, though we got him in early. So this is going to be the revealing moment here. Oh, 8th. Sick. We just zoomed past the majority of the field right there. Absolutely beautiful. And even Gomez actually profited by like 2 spots. Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to another episode on Motorsport Manager with me, Spacefish, and welcome to another race day today. So, within the last few episodes, I think we've always had a little bit of a gradual improvement curve going for us. We've tried to keep tinkering away at the cars, and we've continued working away at things, and we're slowly but surely, I hope, getting into a space where we can more reliably actually fulfill our sponsorship objectives, hopefully make some use of the bonuses that we can get and amp up our development speed even more. Today is a race where I'm kind of still split on what we are going to be able to do in terms of performance, but of course last race we actually nearly hit that sponsorship objective, getting to 10th or above just a few laps before the end, and then only really losing out in the last lap of the race, barely missing that sponsorship objective. So we could very well get there today, and our development has very much been optimized for this track, but we could also very well fail and maybe a driver just goes wide or crashes or something. You never really know. So it could go either way. I hope that it's going to go well for us. I hope we're finally going to be able to hit our driver the sponsorship objective, but let's see about that. That said though, if you're new around this channel, and you do happen to enjoy this episode, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does help out a ton with the algorithm, and if you want to stay around for future videos, also certainly make sure to subscribe. Currently trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so every single one truly counts, and I very much appreciate your support. That said though, let's go and head on to this. So, first things first is going to be what actual knowledge we give these drivers, and I'm kind of slightly confused because I had thought that I remembered that the race was actually scheduled to be in rain, but currently you can see the weather is actually looking rather decent. Everything looks rather dry now. We do not have the forecasting center, so we don't really quite know what the long run outlook is going to be, but I think that honestly we're just going to risk it and go for soft tires and race trim. We're probably going to start out on soft tires as well. I mean, for a start, to of course have a great race start, but also so that, you know, in case we get those rain tires and we have to use them, they kind of last very long, so you may as well have the very abrasive tires at the start and then kind of go from there. So that is going to be the way to go right there. Car setup wise, I think we got quite close. For Andre, we will probably keep this. For Hong, let's see what overall ratings we got in the trainings. You can see both of these being just good. Not quite sure why I never changed anything about the balance there, to be honest. Why did I leave this as good? Wait, this is the exact setup. Oh, I think I ran out of... that's actually kind of an issue. I ran out of petrol here, I think that's why I sent them out again, but I'm not sure. Do we... I think we should honestly just leave it be. I don't want to increase the downforce and worsen it in some way. I think 69% optimum balance is already a very decent score. And while, you know, it could be somewhat wonky in some way or another, I think we're just going to leave it here and hope that that's going to work out fine for us. Interesting point here, though, being actually, the session length is only going to be 21 laps. So, could make it a two-stopper. Probably going to make it a two-stopper, to be fair. Like, if Hong already gets 8 to 10 laps out of the soft, Gomez is probably going to get 9 to 11 out of it. So, just estimating that we're probably going to get the worst result, we will end up on 8 laps in the softs, and then if we conserve the mediums a tad bit more, or vice versa, conserve the softs a tad bit more, we can very much make a one-stop, and I think that probably has to be the strategy here. Okay, interesting. So we'll have to keep that in mind. I think the plan for the time being is going to be getting Hong in like the 8th or the 9th lap, and then getting Gomez in the 9th or the 10th lap. Now, the question actually is, we only have 9 laps of fuel, which is also very little. I think we usually have a bit more, don't we? Like 10, 11, 12? 9 is very little. See, that's actually an issue, because if we wanted to do that too, that's actually not possible even, to be honest. I mean, we're not going to be able to stretch a tank of fuel to like 12 laps from 9, even with our fuel-saving engines and everything. Okay, so it's going to have to be a 2-stop. I guess it's going to have to be a 2-stop in which we absolutely burn the tyres. Because we could literally go 7:14 for pit stops for Hong, and then like 8, and yeah, okay. Anyways, we're going to do that. Car should be up to snuff to be able to take quite a lot of heat in terms of part conditions. So we're going to leave that fuel tank full. And we're going to do the same thing here for Gomez, I think. That's already all auto signs. So we're going to go that way. We're most certainly going to go for max attack and overtake for the start, and let's see how we slowly but surely dial it down over the course of the race, and fingers crossed this is going to work out for us. It's going to be an interesting one, most certainly, but it's going to be 5 lights then, and on we go. Not the greatest of starts from Hong or Gomez, I have to say. We're going to focus on Hong here for the time being, because I think, well, he's got the better car, he is the better driver, so he is probably going to get further up front rather quickly. That said, wow. That's the competition we're dealing with. Are you for real? Do you see how much more power these guys have on the straight? That is insane. Wow, okay, doing well, not at all. That is quite crazy. Gomez is still within the sponsorship objective, but he's going to fall out. The issue here, slowly but surely, for us starting to be, I think, that we do have some sort of standing in the championship, which in the end, for us, really means that first things first, we're going to go and dial down the tyres a bit. But in the end, for what that really means for us is that we start further back, so we are more struggling to even keep people behind us. And you can see here that, you know, Hong is actually an advantage compared to Gomez, but it's really not great, because, you know, we're starting in the midfield, and usually at the start of the season we did used to start at the very front of the field, which kind of just meant that we could drag things out in terms of keeping people behind us. Now we're in the midfield, so like the very competitive people that have better cars are starting right behind us, while at the same time we're not really making a great effort to actually overtake the cars in front of us, which is honestly something that I absolutely am not enjoying. I mean, we're at 13th and 15th spot right now, so that's really not too great. We're going to dial the cars down a bit here now. Make sure that we don't burn through all the fuel, don't mess up all the tyres. 13th and 17th spot, I think it's still somewhat solid for Hong, but it's also going to be a question of how well he's going to be able to hold on as he gets overtaken twice again. I'm really not enjoying these races. Like, I'm not sure how we can be doing so much worse than everybody else, because I was really hoping that we were catching up, but it seems that there's literally still so much more room to go. There goes an overtake for a change. That's something, I guess, but oh boy. Oh, these guys are actually kind of slow, I have to say. That is a 14th spot, 13th spot. Come on, you can get 12. There you go, 12th spot. I mean, Gomez is absolutely getting messed up. Just wanted to have that said too. I will have to check fuel here in a quick second when we actually get to the start-finish line, because one guy's going to have to stop earlier than the other, of course. And that is, of course, also probably going to be Hong, just given how his tyres get used. So that is 6 laps. I think I said 7? Did I say 7? Yeah, so he's going to have to go 2 more laps if we get him in at the end of the 7th lap, which I think, given the differences in tyre wear, we will very much do, probably. So let's go and get the engine to overtake mode, and for Gomez we'll just dial it down. We'll keep it at 3 laps of fuel, because he's going to have to go 1 more, and that is going to be the balance that we will try and strike here, and let's just see how well Hong can catch up, or get overtaken again, you know, and get overtaken yet again. I give him more power and he gets overtaken. I don't know, sometimes. But yeah, that race seems to be a bit more contested, which is good, you know. We can compete with some of the further back midfield teams. That is actually perfect timing, to be fair. That is actually perfect timing, I have to say. Even for Gomez, I think this is quite fine. I like it. Okay, so, I mean, Hong is going to go in this very lap then, of course. We're not really expecting crazy amounts of water on the track, so we're going to go for Inters. I hope that's going to prove to be the right choice. We're going to go for a full tank of fuel. I don't, like, there's no way that we can carry that amount of fuel to the end, to be honest, so we can literally just burn through the tires as good as we can. I suppose that's going to be the way to go. We're most certainly going to go fast, try and just gain some time in the pits, and hopefully, somehow, we can actually get a bit further up, you know, 10th is where we want to go. We're at 11th, so we're not in the worst spot. You know, we've actually caught up a bit. But yeah, I don't know. You cannot come in for Inters, I'm sorry, buddy, because we already have another guy coming in. That would absolutely mess you up. I'd rather keep you out one more lap. Would I rather keep him out one more lap on conditions like those? I mean, maybe not, but he'd have to wait for, like, so long. How far is he behind? He's like only 8 seconds behind. The question is, how long am I going to take in the pits? I can probably extrapolate that from him, can I not? If I was to fill him up here, right? 11 seconds for the other guy. I think we're going to get him into pits. He's going to lose 3 seconds, but maybe due to the conditions worsening that badly and everybody else having the same issue where they can't easily double stack their drivers, I hope that that somehow helps us not lose out on much of anything off of that. Now, that's going to be annoying one way or another, but hopefully the Inter is just given that much of an advantage that he can kind of, you know, work with that. Because, yeah, you can see here how long. 13 seconds. He had to wait like 5 or 6 seconds, which is a long time in racing. Hong, we're just going to send out Max. Oh, lol. that looked a bit weird. I'm gonna go and keep their engines at high, I have to say. The tires they can just absolutely murder, because honestly they're gonna last forever. And then, let's see. We're gonna have Marchetta here, so that guy's already changed tires, but all these other dudes haven't. So we're gonna find out here how bad that was for Gomez, and actually how good it was for Hong, though we got him in early. So this is going to be the revealing moment here. Oh, 8th. Sick. We just zoomed past the majority of the field right there. Absolutely beautiful. And even Gomez actually profited by like 2 spots. So I think we actually did everything very nice and correct. So that is beautiful. It does look as though potentially the rain is going to get a bit better eventually. We'll have to see about that, but we're going to leave the engines on these sort of modes here for the time being. I don't think there's really much more to do. It will be a question if Hong can actually hold on to the spot, if we can kind of hold on to that spot through any sort of better strategy. One way or another, I mean, we will have to stop again. There was a crash as well. We only have 2 people behind us, so we can really not lose out much here with Hong before we do drop out of the points. Actually, I mean, if we're 10th, that's still fine. So, we've got a bit of a buffer, albeit not too crazy off one. Now, you can see we're very much burning through tires a lot compared with the rest of the field. But, like, they're not going to be able to make it to the end. There's no way they can make it to the end without running out of fuel, unless I'm absolutely, like, bonkers mistaken, but, like, that should not be possible. That said, I think we're pushing the tires a bit too hard at this point, so we probably want to back off that a bit, make sure that they do last for a while longer. Actually, we maybe pushed them a tad bit too much, to be fair. Let's just cool them down a bit or something. That's quite insane, not gonna lie. Other than that, I mean, Hong is holding his ground quite alright for the time being. Let's see how long that stays that way. But we're most certainly going to keep it going for now. You can see here, lap 16-ish is when it's going to start drying up again. Maybe lap 17. So that's about what we should be aiming for here, which also actually means that we should tune it down on the engine mode in order to not run out of fuel. We're at the end. Wait, we got to actually check this out. We're at the end of the 13th lap here. Got 3.5 laps of fuel. kind of want to make that 4 ideally, which would mean I would make 13, 14, 15, and 16. And at the end of the 16th lap, we would pit, which is actually decent timing. Now, the thing is that we would have to worry about the gap between Hong and Andre again, but it's currently looking quite alright. Okay. So, that's the plan, I guess. Gonna have to somewhat, hopefully, try and make that. Now, the thing is, you can see Hong's tyres being a bit weaker than the other people's tyres is somewhat of an issue here. So that is something we'll have to... Oh, no. Don't do it. No! Oh, no, 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 no. This is not good. This is absolutely terrible. There we go again. Everything lost. Wow. Just like within the brink of an eye. It's... Wow. Okay, the tyres have been pushed a bit too hard. That was a bit of a mistake on my end, I suppose. Now, we're somehow going to have to hold on here for dear life while we try and actually bring these cars in with the appropriate amounts of fuel in them, which is probably also going to be proving to be quite a bit of a challenge here. Trying to hold on the last bit of stuff. We're in 10th, now 11th, in a second maybe again 10th spot. It's bouncing back and forth right now. I don't like it, you know, we're nearly there, but we're not quite there, and it's... Oh, and then my mistake here, and oh boy. Okay, so now we have a bit of a fuel issue. We'll have to hope that he somehow makes it to the end of this one. We're going to take him into the pits here, and we're going to go for softs. We're going to fill him up, and we're going to make it fast. Cool. Same thing for Gomez. Softs, fill up, and we're going to try fast with him too. Ooh. Ooh. It's actually an issue, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't... The thing is, right? The thing is, it's not gonna... We're just going to go for max repairs, honestly, because he's not in a spot where we really care that much. Actually, he's in 13th spot. How's he in 13th spot? Oh, I guess a few people have already pitted. Okay, fair. That is probably also the reason why we're still in 9th spot with Hong, when in fact it isn't really looking that great for us. Also, we're probably going to run out of fuel on the straight here, which is going to be terrible. Losing time. Just a tad bit, but we lost a bit of time there, unfortunately. Anyways, that's going to be the pit stop. That's going to be a mistake right there, which absolutely sucks. We'll have to see how that works for him. We'll also have to see, once we get to the start-finish line, we're going to actually align. Oh, another mistake, of course, but they had to repair the engine anyway, so it's fine, I guess. But yeah, once we get to the start-finish line, we will have to... 3 mistakes, that's insane. But once we get to the start-finish line, which I tried saying 3 times now, we're going to actually have to align here. Ooh, look at these guys. Having reliability issues all pitting, that could be good for us, but we're going to have to look at like tire status and fuel status and everything right here, about-ish. We have got... Is that 4 laps to go? 18, 19, 20, and 21. Yeah, it's 4 laps to go. We actually have a bit much fuel, to be fair. We've got a bit... We're going to keep things going like this. Just push the heck out of it, Hong, and try and get us to the 10th spot that we so want, alright? We'll see how that works out. No, don't get overtaken. You're supposed to overtake, not to get overtaken. Please! I mean, he's trying his best to keep him behind him. We've got to give him that, you know. He tried for the longest time, and he held him behind himself for the longest time, but he didn't quite make it. Now, we do seem to be faster than the car in front of us, which is a start. I'm not sure about the group in front of that car. We don't have much time left here to overtake, so we kind of need a combination of overtaking them and somebody else crashing or having their car fail on them, which I'm not sure is realistic or not. We are actually also not that much faster, it seems. Do we see the comparison here? Somewhere, yeah. So... No. I mean, these guys... Wait, all these people are actually way slower than us. There's 3 people here that are all slower. By quite a hefty margin, I have to say. But the thing is, we only have 1 more lap remaining. There's like 3 people, which would be exactly what we would need. But they... Come on, just be even slower, please. Oh, we're catching up to them. See that group? It's coming closer. It's coming real close now. Up there they are. I don't think we're quite gonna make it. Oh my god, please! Give me something! Give me something! No! We were so close! We were literally 3 seconds off that, and they were so much slower. Like, they were literally 2 or 3 seconds slower at the end there. Had we had, like, 2 more laps, we would have actually made our sponsorship objective. The good news is, we're currently consistently making our old sponsorship objectives, which is something, I guess. But we didn't quite get there, and I have to say, I do have to admit, I made one crucial mistake there, being that I burnt the inters a bit too bad on Hong's part there. I think that is the bad tire and fuel management there on the inter run is what kind of ended up coming back to bite me and mess me up. Because once we had to tune down that tire strategy, and once they did really start getting messed up, that's when that group behind us actually caught up. Otherwise, we would have probably held a better time. I'm not sure we would have been able to stay in front of them forever, but it may have been enough of a time difference to get us to 10th spot there in the very end. So, it's very unfortunate, and, well, just honestly a bit of a mistake on my side too. But I do have to say, I'm feeling more positive every race at this point about where we're going, because I think what's honestly very much showing is that we are able to consistently get these results in, you know, whereas in the previous season we would always be at like 19th, 20th spot with like no chance or change. I think we are slowly but surely creeping up in the ranks that we can do, while at the same time also keeping those ranks that we can consistently do at like 12th or 13th. But at the same time, you know, with a few less mistakes on our side, this could have probably been the first race in a while where we would have actually made the sponsorship objective. Last time, that was not an option. Despite us being there, you know, we did get overtaken the last 2 laps, and there was just no chance. But this time, we could have actually made it with a little less in terms of mistakes. So, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see and look where we're going. We are in 8th spot. That's something, you know, made our chairman happy, and at least we're able to keep that promise. It's still a bit of work to do, most certainly. And I'm looking forward to see what the new engine development can do for us, because I feel like that's always one of the major parts that you do want to try and get right in this sort of environment. So we'll have to see right there. We have a new unlock down here. Pit stop legends. All pit stop times are 1 second faster. Interesting. Well, that's also a new option now, just in case we don't get the research in the tires and stuff. We can use that. What do you mean I came 9th? I came 8th. I have been swindled by the game. The game literally just showed me 2 seconds ago, and you're all my witnesses that we came in 8th. I have been absolutely swindled, and wow. Thanks, game. Love you. That's great. Anyways, we have met our chairman's expectations. I very much stick to that side of the story. 1 mil, you know, fairly fine. And we'll look at our future developments. I really hope that where we're going with all this, with the new engine now being built and the test track coming up, which is going to allow us eventually another tier of engine, that is going to somewhat help us amp up that development speed and our ambitions and actually get somewhere even faster. But with that said, and us just quickly going through all these, and we're not going to actually go for an interview for the time being. With that all said, then, I think it is time to end it off right here. We're going to go and, well, hopefully move on nicely with that development, get that engine, well, ideally all the way to up here, but, you know, I think somewhat this area is our ambition for the season, and then hopefully that's going to help us out on the next race in Tondela, where top speed is also going to be useful, and our acceleration that we've developed is most certainly going to be helpful. In the meanwhile, of course, also still a bunch of parts to improve in terms of reliability and performance that we already do have, that we just need to be doing some work on. So I think the development is not going to stop for quite a while now, and we're still going to keep trying hard, and I hope that within a few races we should also be able to consistently make that Lewis sponsorship objective. So fingers crossed right there. For today though, I'm going to end it off right here. I hope you all very much enjoyed the episode. As usual, if you did, please make sure to that like button down below. That does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. But with all that out of the way then, as usual everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next episode very, very soon. Ciao.